Hey everyone, so just like you saw in the thumbnail, let's talk about NeoBanks today. Are they the one? Should you get them? And what benefits do they offer? So just like my previous video, I'll try to have timestamps here and it will be easier for you to go through everything because it will be linked here, everything that I'll cover in the video, and I'm just gonna read it out for you. So we'll start with what are NeoBanks? They are sometimes also known as challenger banks. What are they? What benefits do they offer? How are they different than traditional banks? How many are there in India? Or like these are the ones which have got the license and which have already started operations. And I will have all of them in the description. I'll put a link from Jupiter Money, that is one of the new bank that has got license and hasn't started operations yet, not even in beta, but there is a community and there's a good discussion and there's a whole list of new banks which is provided by everyone who's in the community, and it's a very good list that I have referred, and I have tried most of the banks through them, so it will be for your reference right down in the link. And what are the different sectors do they serve? So neobanks are just not for end consumers. They can be for SMEs. They can be for a particular section of the society, like blue collar jobs. They can be, just limiting themselves to banking or offering a credit card or just loans or stuff like that. So what different kinds of services do they offer? And should you have an account with them? Should you open an account with them, right? And what ones have I used myself and what experience I have with them so far. And of course, I will end this with a conclusion. So stay tuned and let's get started. Talking about what benefits do they offer? I mean, the biggest benefit is you get access to the best banks. So let's say, I'll give you an example of, I have opened a Niyo, N-I-Y-O, Niyo Bank, which is working in collaboration with IDFC First Bank. So I have an IDFC First Bank offered by Niyo, and this is normally a savings account that would require you to have a minimum account balance, MAB as they say, of 25,000 per month. And I got it for free with a zero balance account. So it is the same. I mean, I can even log in to the IDFC First Bank and use all the services right from IDFC First Bank. But the only difference is I get a 25,000 minimum account balance for free with zero balance. So that's the biggest benefit. So NeoBank is just like an MVNO, if you ever heard of that term. Again, we don't have any of them in India, but an MVNO is Mobile Virtual Network Operator. So what happens is, say, Jio, BSNL, or Vodafone, or Airtel, these companies have their own infrastructure, they have their own network, but say I want to start MVNO, and I just come in and I get my SIM cards, which is the GeekSig, right? TGS SIM cards, and they will use the network of Airtel. So you get Airtel's network, you get everything. It's just the branding is TGS instead of, so you get a TGS SIM instead of an Airtel SIM, and that's it. So it's a virtual network operator with just the branding and no physical infrastructure in place. The same happens with neobanks. They are virtual network operators, so they don't have their own network or branches or anything. They just tie up with another bank, bigger bank, and then they offer the same services, but with certain benefits. Like the biggest benefit I can think of is zero balance account, right? So that's one of the selling points. The other one is you don't have to go to a branch. Like if you are like me, who hates going to branches and who still thinks that we are really far off from going digital, because we still go to a branch, and if you want to deposit money, you have to fill out a form, a deposit form. We still have checks. I don't understand why we have checks. I don't understand why we have to fill up paper forms and details. I've lived in Australia for 4 years, and I remember even in 2010, I was there from 2009, so it's been 11, 12 years. This is the 12th year. I could just walk into a bank, show my debit card, they would swipe it. They have a machine, they would swipe it, and they have all the details, all my details, with my debit card swiping in front of them and say, I want to deposit some money, $100. I would just give them $100 and they would deposit it. That's it. No form filling, no paper, nothing. This is 2009. Imagine we are 12 years, we are in 2021 and we still have papers, slips in bank. Why do we have to? I mean, why can't I just go to the banker sitting there at the deposit counter and give my debit card to them, and they can swipe and they get all the details and I just give money to them. That's it. India is going digital India for so many years. We are shouting digital India. The world is covering that digital India. Like seriously, it's not digital India. We are nowhere close to a lot of developed countries around the world. But enough of ranting. I'll go back to what the video is about. So, what is the benefit of having I wanted to cover what benefits do these banks offer, right? So one of the biggest benefits is, of course, zero minimum balance. The second one is everything is online, so you don't have to ever go to a branch. Everything is mobile app based. They sometimes don't even have a website, and I've not used a website for any of the NeoBanks that I've used. The support is normally good because they have either a ticket in the app, you can raise a ticket for whatever issue you have, or they have WhatsApp based support and they call you. That is the best thing. I mean, I know how shitty it is to call a bank and be on hold forever, or go through this huge number of menus where you press 1, 2, 4, 10, 15, 10 minutes of pressing all the buttons, playing in IVR before you hear a human voice. So that is all a shit way of doing customer service, and I'm so glad that these guys have a service where you can just put in a WhatsApp request or you can raise a ticket and they call you back. Perfect. So that's the customer service is normally better. Let's say, it's not always better, but banking as a sector has had shit service. So the customer service is normally absolutely bullshit. So one of the things that they want to advertise is we have a better customer service. So those are the two things, no minimum account balance, zero account balance, better customer service. Then they have certain benefits like, cashback schemes or whatever. There were some banks which advertised and, they have then backtracked, but for every transaction you make on our debit card, you'll get 2% cashback. They have backtracked to it. It's just a selling point, and I would say it was a shitty practice again, but they have backtracked and that has not happened. But yes, they have certain benefits, and it's just ease of using it. If you've ever dealt with banks and have hated the experience of dealing with a bank, these guys promise that you will have a better overall banking experience. So that's how they say that they offer certain benefits. Then, how are they different from traditional banks? The same thing. They don't have physical branches. You can't just walk into a branch. They don't have one, which is great for me, as far as you ask me. They focus on technology more because they're fintech firms. So the technology part is their core focus. So they have better apps. Everything is app based. It's mostly like technology driven. So fintech firms or neobanks are technology driven. So there's finance and technology together, and everything happens on the app. Everything is internet based, and it's just easy. So another benefit, again, most normal banks, like I have an ICICI bank account and HDFC bank account. I don't know if they have because I've never used it, but you can't just lock and unlock your card. So that's another thing these guys offer, NeoBanks, that you can just go to the app and lock and unlock. Not just for domestic, international, and tap to pay transactions, but you can just lock and unlock your card like completely for all the transactions. That's one of the things, and you can also view. So you never have to carry a physical card. Because you can view all your card details, all the 16-digit number, expiry rate, CVV number right from the app. So that's again, one of the things. I will try and add some screenshots and some, details about these apps hiding my information. So maybe that will be even more helpful and make this a little bit easier. Now, so they are different than traditional banks just in the fact that they have core focus on technology. How many are there in India? Or how many have come into operation? The list is down under. As I said, there's a huge list and it's almost covering everything. But yes, people are adding more stuff on there. So if there's something missing, I'll just go through quick ones that I know of that I haven't used. but there's NeoBank I use. There's NeoX. So Niyo is originally, they have the tie-up with IDFC First. NeoX is tied up with Equitas Bank, Equitas Small Finance Bank. There's Epifi, which I'm really looking forward to because these guys are ex-Google employees and they have really good experience. So I've looked up the Epifi website. I am again putting that in the link here so you can go through the website. There's Fold Money, there's Maverick, and I can go on. There's Finin, of course, which I have opened the account with, and it hasn't been great. So I will talk about that in the part of how has been my experience so far. There's Cash App, Pink Capital, Yellow Bank. Yellow is already open. There's Walrus. Walrus I use already, so I will tell you a little bit more. There's Dutch Pay. So all of these banks focus on different things. I mean, some of them are for couples, some of them are for flatmates, or when you have to share payments and stuff. So they have different USPs, and there's one for SMEs, small and medium enterprises, right? So it's called Open. So you can check Open as well. Then there's there's certain neobanks which are like made in India, but for US market. So that's called Juno. Then there's another one called Eldera, which I have opened an account. So it's a US based account. You get a US bank account, but all you need is Indian documents, your Aadhaar card, your passport, all of that, and that's it, and you are set. So as I said, they have different priorities and different USPs, and they might have, so again, it's a very good way to go through all the ones that are listed in the description with the Jupiter Money, and you will be able to find out what services they offer or what sections do they cater to. So there's also RazorpayX, which is again good. So again, it's a long list. So I won't try and cover everything. I'll just focus on the ones that I know for sure and have actually used. Let's look at, should you open account with them? I mean, yes, it depends. I would say I love the fact that I don't have to go to a bank, a physical branch. I hate that experience. I never wanted to go to a bank ever in my life. And I told you, it's just, I don't understand why do we still have to fill up papers. So that's a shit way of doing banks. And banking is a sector which really needed some upgrades and, use of technology. We have seen how HDFC sucks, and how they were banned by RBI from issuing new credit cards. And that is what we need from RBI, bigger, bolder steps, really strict steps against the banks which don't comply with having. You are serving second most populated nation in the world. You have massive scale to deal with, and you're not investing in your infrastructure. That is shit. You cannot be let away with that. RBI is actually doing great work with banning banks and fining them bigger amounts. That is how it should be. It should have been. But thankfully we are seeing a lot of competition, more new banks coming in, and I hope the sector will overall improve and it will be better for us consumers. So why should you have an account with them if you hate going to the banks, or if your banking is mostly online and app based, like I think most of us would have? And if you need a zero balance account with some premium features of some reputed banks, because as I said, new banks don't have their own infrastructure, they'll tie up with the bank. They'll have a banking partner. They'll offer you the same account which you would normally pay a minimum balance, right? That brings to, which ones do I have used personally and what's my experience with them so far? So also, the good thing is, before NeoBanks came into existence, there were some ones who started even operating or got licensed and whatever, started operations. There were ones which were called 811. So I have a Kotak 811 bank account. This is by a normal bigger bank, Kotak Bank, which has its own branches and everything. But in 811, again, 811 account was, you can call all the 811 accounts NeoBanks as well. So even the biggest banks have started and have been doing neobanking stuff. So 811 is zero balance account. You have less features, but again, if your banking is mostly app-based and online, it's perfect for you. So I have an 811 Kotak 811 account. I won't even talk about it much because it's been something that I haven't used. I like the fact that you have a virtual debit card, which can be used for all the online transactions. And there is still a lot of stuff needed, which I will talk about, what things can be improved by neobanks. And let's see, I will cover that. in the conclusion as well, because there's things that they can improve and things can become better. But the ones that I've had so far: Kotak 811, Paytm Payments Bank, of course. Paytm offers a payment banks as well with zero balance everything. So 2. Then I had Niyo, which is offered by Niyo, but in collaboration with IDFC First Bank. So I have an IDFC First Bank offered by Niyo with zero balance. And again, the good part is because I had IDFC First Bank, when they started offering credit cards to existing customers, I was offered one in January this year. So it's been 3 months already. I was an early adopter of credit cards by IDFC because I already had a relationship with them. I already had a bank account I was using. So IDFC by Niyo. I also got a NeoBanks, which is they just started, and it's with Equitas Small Finance Bank. So it's 4 so far. We are Kotak 811, Paytm Payments, Niyo with IDFC, NeoBanks, and I have a DBS. So DBS started as an online-only bank, a NeoBank, Development Bank of Singapore, but they have acquired Lakshmi Vilas Bank, and they have started operations offline as well. So now they have branches, but they started with the NeoBank model. So it's, again, I would say DBS is awesome. The app is amazing, everything. So far, I like DBS apps. I like the services they offer. I mean, they offer pretty much the whole banking experience, right from investments to banking to forex transfers to pretty much everything, UPI, everything. Also, I have Finin. Now, Finin is a bank which is, again, a NeoBank. They were in beta. Now I think they are available mostly, so you can download. So that makes it a 6. Yeah, I have 6 banks which are NeoBanks. Okay, so Finin is they have a partnership with SBM, State Bank of Mauritius. So they operate in India as well as SBM. And Finin has been the shittest, has been the worst so far. They are really slow at offering services. They are absolutely pathetic with their customer service. And I understand they are a startup, and I understand that there are things which the backend has to work with SBM, and there's these things. But I have used 5 to 6 other banks before I started using Finin, and it has been the worst experience. So I would say avoid Finin at all the costs. If you want to have a neo-banking experience, I would say the right at the top is DBS. Then it could be Niyo. The Niyo is great with both. I mean, whether it's you use Niyo with IDFC or Niyo with NeoBanks. So yes, those ones are the best. Kotak 811 is okay. I just don't use it. Paytm Payments Bank, again, I haven't used much, but yeah, great. Niyo, avoid. Finin, just avoid them. Right? So this is my experience so far. I mean, I have hated Finin. I have completely given up on them, but I still have the account. So let's see. What services could these guys add to make it, even more amazing, to make it to get a lot of people sign up for them? Number one, they don't have a lot of, capital to blow on advertising and stuff. So you don't see much ads. You would probably never see ads about all this, neobanks on television or newspapers and stuff. Maybe social media. They do ads on social media, or they would email you or whatever, but you would not see them spending a huge buttload of money on advertising. So that's one of the things. One thing that I don't know if you guys have seen, but I was one of the first ones to, and I have, again, lived in Australia, and I've used tap to pay or NFC payments since 2009 onwards. So I really like the fact that if I don't have to carry my wallet, and I can just use my cell phone to pay, tap and pay. And with the pandemic kicking in, for almost last 1 year, that has suddenly grown. That market of tap to pay, everyone's trying to use it. And it's amazing if you have a phone with an NFC chip, so you can just add your cards to the phone and you can pay. Google Pay has added that facility, and you have 5 banks so far supported, but mostly Visa cards. So they started with Axis and SBI Visa cards, both debit and credit. You could add to your Google Pay, and you can pay at, you cannot pay people from person to person, but you can pay businesses with your phone. If you have a Visa debit or credit card from Axis, SBI, Kotak, 3 banks, Now they have just added HDFC. So again, if you have HDFC, Visa, debit or credit, so all 4 banks, debit or credit cards, you can tap to pay from your Google Pay. And HSBC, Visa, credit cards only. So 5 banks are supported. You can add all of them into your Google Pay and you can just tap and pay. So that's great. So that is something these guys, all the neobanks need to have. They need to have collaborations with Google Pay. They need to have their cards, even if it's a virtual card, which can be added. Because I have my Kotak 811 virtual card added to my Google Pay and I've paid with it already. So virtual cards or actual cards, they can get partnerships with Google Pay or Samsung Pay, and they those cards can be added in there. You can, so that's one more way. It will become one more selling point for them. So that is just one of the things. I mean, yes, they say they are focused on tech, but as I said, Finin is shit. Their app is shit. A lot of features are not active. It took them almost 2 to 3 months to even get a UPI activated, which has been activated with DBS, Paytm, or every other neobank that I've used right from day one. So yes, they say that they are focused on tech more. They are fintech companies, they're neobanks. They have a bigger focus on tech, but there is still that they can do more in terms of tech. They can get more partnerships and stuff. Conclusion, if I want to conclude this, I would say neobanks are great. It's good to have more challenges out there, or more banks which give you more competition in the banking sector and more options for us customers. So it is a great development. It's good. There will be a lot more banks coming in which have got licenses, and some of them have even applied for more licenses right now. I'm reading the Sachin Bansal, Flipkart's co-founder, also has one of the banks he has opened, and they deal with just short-term loans to SMEs. They have got a full banking license. Some other companies have. So there are, I think I'll put that link here again in the description so you can read about it. But there are more companies applying for getting a banking license. And that's great. I mean, the more choice is always good. More options are always good for customers. But there is a lot more to be done. I mean, the problem is a lot of these companies are still not live. They've just got licenses and they are not live yet. Epifi, there's a whole Jupiter Money. There's a whole bunch of, at least I think 25, 30 banks which are not live. And even if they are live, they haven't advertised much. As I said, they don't have probably enough budget. So they need to advertise more. They need to, push more for and get more innovative services. Like now, all these 25, 30, 40 neobanks, whatever have got license, if they all offer the same services, why would you choose Niyo over Yellow Bank or over Epifi or over whatever? So why would you choose one bank over other? What is the USP? What is the additional feature that they offer? So a lot of international players will also get into India, and that will just make the space even more challenging, even more exciting for us. So it's great to have these developments. It's great to have neobanks, and I hope that we get better services as customers. And you will probably see me covering more of this if there are major developments. But that's it for now. I've covered pretty much everything. Do let me know what do you think about the video, or have you tried any of these banks, and what has been your experiences? Put down your comments and I would be happy to read and reply and learn from you guys. But until the next one, take care of yourself. Make sure you wear the masks. Make sure you take care of all the precautions. Stay indoors. And yeah, I will see you in the next one. Take care. Thank you.